on your hot Nextdoor Neighbor goes right. Watch out for spoilers and enjoy the movie. Rick Ricker is a high school kid who hates his life. He considers himself to be a loser, a nobody. He misses his school bus and gets hit by it. In the bus, nobody lets him sit next to them. We are then introduced to Jill Johnson, his crush. However, she has a boyfriend, Lance Landers. He does have one friend, Trey. At Amalgamated Labs, Dr. Storm shows them around the Animal Genetics Lab. He prohibits feeding the animals and flash photography. So of course, Rick uses flash photography and the bird promptly burns up. He quickly stamps on it to douse the fire, but it gets stuck to his foot, which he accidentally kicks it at Jill's boyfriend, Lance. Lance tries to pick a fight with him, but his uncle, Lou Landers, comes and stops him. Lou is the CEO of Amalgamated Labs. He also has a medical problem causing him to cough up blood. Rick asks if he's okay and they make small talk. As soon as Lou leaves, Lance comes over and pushes him onto a pile of strategically placed poop. He tries to wash it with H2O but realizes that it's actually H2O9, which is a powerful pheromone that causes animals to mate. All around him, the animals come for lovemaking. It's an animal gangbang and Rick is the white girl. Meanwhile, Dr. Storm is showing off genetically enhanced dragonflies which are much stronger. Jill notes that one of them is missing. That dragonfly is actually going in for some action with Rick. It bites him on the neck, causing him pain, so he accidentally knocks over the H2O9 bottle and it all wets him. Farm animals come to him for pleasure making and cover him in love juices. Later that night, Aunt Lucille and Uncle Albert Talk are about to get a little frisky when Rick comes in, dizzy from the dragonfly bite. He lives with them as his parents are dead. He crashes around the room and they notice nothing of it. Rick goes to his room and faints. At Amalgamated Labs, the board of directors are getting tired of Lou Landers. Lou has a terminal illness and is doing all sorts of experiments to fix it. He shows them a machine that can alter DNA and restore the body to perfect health. He starts the machine and the whole thing goes boom. One board member comes to him and Lou grabs his hand and steals his life. He doesn't even need glasses anymore. He then steals the life of all of the board members. It was not a good day of office for them. In his home, Rick wakes up after 5 days being hugged by Uncle Albert. He wakes up and sees the bite gone, so he checks up his symptoms on the internet. He is asked if he has ever had sex, and he says yes, but the internet doesn't accept his bullshit and he accepts that he's a virgin. Then a contact says that they have an answer. Just then, he sees Jill undressing at her window. She removes her bra and reveals another bra. At their school's science fair, they have a chief guest. Some dude named Stephen Hawking. Later, Rick's palms stick to a sink. He has sticky fingers. When he pulls it, the sink comes as well and hits Lance in the head. Lance comes to fight him and he dodges it all. His sticky fingers even grab onto a man's clothes, pulling it all off. Later, he tests his powers in an alleyway. He climbs the walls and does some dope dance moves. Suddenly, a truck with no brakes rushes towards an old lady. Rick pushes her away and takes on the truck like a freaking champ. He then sees that he actually pushed the woman into a shredder and thus she died. At his home, Trey and Uncle Albert fix some things. As Rick enters, he accidentally shoots him with the nail gun, but Rick catches it. Just to test the gun, Uncle Albert shoots Trey's hand like any normal person would do. Trey falls to the ground in pain. Rick says that he has superpowers, so Uncle Albert takes the liberty of testing it out by stabbing him. The knife bends. Trey and Uncle Albert are excited, but Rick doesn't want it. They have an argument, and Rick goes outside. He looks at his father's ring and thinks of the night they died. He and his parents are walking down a dark alley when a robber comes and demands their money. Rick steps up and fights the robber. However, he accidentally shoots his own parents while trying to be a hero. The robber runs away and Rick goes to his parents. He throws the gun away and it misfires into his mother. His father gives him their ancestral ring, which he accidentally slips into his mouth. He takes it out and his father tells him to earn it and be a hero. Outside his home, he hears Jill having an argument with her parents. They want her to go to college, but she wants to be a dancer. She talks about her dream and Rick electrocutes himself on her electric fence. Lance arrives in a fancy car and he looks at his own fancy ride. The next day, he looks for cars to buy but gets a video from Professor Xavier who tells him to be a hero. He then goes to a bank for a car loan but gets denied. Just then, a robber comes in and steals the money. As he tries to leave, Rick accidentally opens the door for him. They then hear gunshots outside. He runs to a crowd, but it's just a monkey show. Uncle Albert is lying to the side. When Rick rushes to him, he says the famous line that we all know, "With great power comes great bitches." At his office, Lou examines his healthy face when suddenly he grows weak. Just then, his secretary comes to him and he steals her life. He has to hide the body now, which she pushes into a closet. The cleaner thinks it's something else. At the hospital, Jill comes to visit Rick and Uncle Albert. He's regretful for not stopping the robber. Jill says that she believes in him and gives her a kiss. Outside, Rick is met by Professor Xavier, who takes him to a school for the non-Asian gifted. They all have superpowers. He is giving him a tour when his wife comes over and yells at him for having an affair with Invisible Girl. They have a fight and she wins. She then blows him away and gives him the secret of being a superhero: make a costume. So Rick makes several designs, some not as good as others. But he's such a genius that he forgets to put air holes in the mask and makes the material non-transparent. He faints. At night, he looks seriously out over the city, where he meets John Storm, another superhero. John shows him his power, which is Flame On, but it starts burning him. Rick tries to help, but only makes it worse. John Storm falls over and dies. Rick wants to fly, and he does fly, for a couple of floors. Rick starts doing hero work, and the world starts to notice. Even Tom Cruise notices and makes a video about how the dragonfly cannot fly. At the lab, Dr. Storm informs Lou that he needs to kill one person every day in order to live. But that can be mended with some ceruleum and a killer machine. Lou says he'll steal the ceruleum. Laughing maniacally, he throws an hourglass into the ground and a glass enters his eye. At the Empire State University, police are in a standoff with Lou Landers, who is now the supervillain Hourglass. Dragonfly punches Hourglass into the building, and he is glad to see that Jill has the hots for him. He goes inside and viciously fights Hourglass while the camera spins. Dragonfly asks the director to stop because they're getting dizzy. Hourglass throws up and then throws titanium blades at him. Dragonfly dodges none of them. Hourglass leaves. At his home, him and Trey clean his wounds. Aunt Lucille comes over and says that Hourglass will use Rick's loved ones to get to him. So Rick must keep his identity a secret. At night, Jill is just leaving an audition, so Rick comes and gives her a bouquet. She thanks him, and as she's leaving, a bunch of goons harass her and chase her into an alley. Dragonfly comes and saves her. They kiss. In his lab, Lou takes a Windows CD of Death Machine Maker, the home version. He calculates the number of people he needs to kill to reach immortality. Elsewhere, Jill has come over for Thanksgiving. Her and Aunt Lucille talk about love while Aunt Lucille stuffs the turkey with the needed things. Just then, Lance arrives with his Uncle Lou. Meanwhile, Rick comes home and struggles inside while drinking a small cup of drink. Aunt Lucille is about to go check on him, but Lou offers to do it. He goes into Rick's room just as Rick is releasing his fluids. Rick hides on the ceiling while Lou looks for him. Rick drank so much juice that he pees all over the floor when Lou is not looking. He then hides in the drawer, but escapes when Lou looks there. Unable to find him, he goes down and Rick comes in through the front door. They sit down for dinner. Suddenly, Lou points out to Rick's wound from the blades before and he makes up an excuse. He points out to Lou's bandaged wrist and he makes up an excuse. Lou abruptly leaves the dinner. Later, while Aunt Lucille sleeps, Rick and Jill talk about his friendship with Dragonfly. She asks if Dragonfly has asked about her. Rick makes up beautiful things that Dragonfly has said about her, while Aunt Lucille plays background music with loud farts. They reach in for a kiss, but love is often hindered by a supervillain tearing down a wall. Rick throws Bronze Ball, which jumps around the room and hits him on the head. He gets knocked out, and Hourglass takes Aunt Lucille. At the hospital, the doctor informs him that she is dead, but he should not give his uncle the bad news right now. The doctor then goes ahead and gives his uncle the bad news. At Aunt Lucille's funeral, Jill comes over to give him her condolences. Rick says that they can't be together because he needs to protect her. She gets heartbroken and leaves. He lets himself go, so Uncle Albert and Trey come over to talk to him and remove his stupid fake beard. Uncle Albert gives him his father's ring and re-inspires him to continue his hero work. He guesses that the Hourglass will be at the Empire State Convention to steal the lives of the people there. Many guests like Nelson Mandela, Prince Charles, etc. will be there. There, Lou Sanders wins the Douchebag of the Year award. Backstage, as he throws the douchebag into a dustbin, Rick comes to him and asks him to help find the hourglass. Lou blames the Dalai Lama. Dragonfly beats up the Dalai Lama in front of everyone, thinking that he's the hourglass. He even tears his clothes. He then kicks a man into the crowd and everyone starts fighting each other. In the confusion, Lou takes the ceruleum for his machine. Dragonfly sees him enter through a blown-up wall and follows him. However, it's a costume convention and everyone is dressed up as superheroes and supervillains. Hourglass steps onto his killer machine and blows up the ceiling. The debris falls on Dragonfly, which he lifts and throws up, and it comes on him again. The Hourglass is about to finish him off, but Jill saves him. Dragonfly gets out and lifts her up, while the Hourglass leaves. Dragonfly goes to the rooftop, where the Hourglass has already begun his plan. He touches him and transfers the life force to Jill and saves her. Hourglass is still going to activate the machine and throws a bomb at Dragonfly. He catches it, but it gets stuck on his groin, so he places it right in front of Hourglass's face. The bomb blows up and kills Hourglass. However, Jill has been thrown over by the explosion and he jumps to her. She sees his ring and recognizes him as Rick. Dragonfly starts saying that he wished he could fly, and they kiss. Dragonfly suddenly sprouts wings and saves them both. They fly romantically like Superman and get hit by a helicopter. And that's where the movie ends. Make sure to check out the next film displayed on your screen right now, and subscribe now with all the notifications enabled to not miss out on future videos.